to turn the other phone down because I have someone that is on hold. I'm on hold with a credit bureau because you know that we have to get those inquiries off, especially if they're not ours. We have to remove them. We have to make sure that we're always looking at our personal credit and keeping it intact. So while I'm on this live, I'll just have them on hold while I'm waiting for them to come. Anyway, I'm taking down my two-strand twist right now. My hair, I am, after a week basically of not feeling well, I'm still on the mend, but I had to get up. I had to get up. I mean, I've been getting up here and there. I did the live a couple of days ago and I was down, but I'm feeling a lot better. Let me turn this down. I feel like it's so loud. I hope you guys can hear me. Turn this up. There we go. But while I was here, um, while I was here doing my hair, I was just having just a lot of thoughts, right? Usually I go live at night, but I thought it doesn't matter. Whoever's supposed to see this message will see it. Um, you know, I spent so much of my life not being present. And when I say not being present, I mean not really being present to what was going on around me. Moving in an autopilot, gotta get the kids to school, gotta go to work, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta, and just moving. Like, have you ever been driving? And I know this has happened for you because this is just human nature, but like, have you ever been driving and you realize that you're on autopilot? Like, you're so much in your head, you're not paying attention to the road, you don't know what's going on because you're thinking about all the things that you need to do, all the things that need to happen in your world, and all the check off lists and the take here, do this, and the pay bills, and you're just driving and you're not even noticing like what's going on around you. You're just moving. You're just moving. And so that's what I mean. I just spent so much of my life doing that on autopilot. Hi Lola. Hi. Hi Fernanda. Thank you for joining. Just spending so much of my life just completely on autopilot and not being present. Not not being present to myself. Like, not not really being even present to my purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that despite what happens in life, all of the things that we go through, all of the trials, the tribulations, the trauma, the setbacks, the pain, that we still got to be present. Like, there's a bigger purpose. God has put us on this universe, in this 3D, however you want to do it, in this soul place that we're living, to do more than just be on autopilot. Like, I know I'm always in my head, right? And I consider myself a deep person. I'm always in my head thinking, right? But like, so many times, none of this actually feels real. And it's so funny because my middle daughter, I have three daughters, right? And my middle daughter, from the time that she was probably like 3 or 4 years old, she would say to me, like, Mom, nothing feels real. And I didn't understand. And I was like, what is this child talking about? And you know how they say when kids are little, like, they see angels, and they can feel presence of God. And as you get older, you kind of disconnect from that because of the reality, right? But she used to say, like, none of this feels real. And I get it. You come from a place in the womb of like being protected, coming from God, coming from, if you want to say heaven, right? You come from somewhere, right? But the thing is it doesn't seem real. That's why I was talking about creating your own life, because while we're in the 3D, while we're in the programming of, we have to function, right? We need money to live, we connect with other human beings. Like, we have souls. We have souls. that we come through the embodiment of a human being, like our flesh. This is our flesh, my hair, all of these things that make us real, right? But we are still a soul, we're still a spirit, we're still an embodiment of so many things in life. So sometimes disconnecting from the autopilot of the I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to be this to other people, I have to, what about what you're being to you? How about actually being a human being and not just a human doing all the things that you think you're supposed to do, doing all the things that you think other people want you to do, or that's going to make you look good, or that's going to make you be a certain way. How about doing and being the embodiment of who it is you're supposed to be? We put so much pressure on ourselves to be things and people that we perceive, to mimic others, just because I think it's just the programming of what we're taught to do, just be duplicates of other people. But what if you're just supposed to be yourself? You're just supposed to be whoever God wanted you to be. And now, like with social media and being able to watch other people's lives, I think that we get so caught up in what other people are doing, and we want to look just like this person and this celebrity and this, and it's just all too much. And trust me, yes, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How may I direct your call?
Yes, I need to speak to the fraud department. I was in a bigger part where well, not you, but someone transferred me, and the automated system wouldn't let me get to the fraud department about inquiries on my credit.
Okay, let me go ahead and get you to an agent. Just let them know you need the fraud department.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. One moment.
So this is what we got to do to get inquiries off our credit. You know how we do it. You know the what I offer in credit repair. So what we got to do, right? Because you got to keep our credit straight. Anyway, we get so caught up in doing all of these things. No, I am not Filipino, but I do have family that is Asian, but no, I'm not Filipino. Um, Long story short, we get so caught up in doing that we forget about who we are, and we forget about being the embodiment of who we are in our soul beyond the body that we were put in. This body is just a representation of who God, who Source allowed us to be in, to represent the highest beings that are inside of us. I hope any of this makes sense to somebody that understands. Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining. But we have a higher calling. We have a higher purpose than just going through life on autopilot and just pretending to be other people. I had so many masks that I've worn, so many years, just masks, layers of masks of so many different versions of myself that I thought that I was supposed to be, that I was supposed to present as, that, you know, just based on the history of trauma, right? The things that I had been through in my life and gone through, and thought that if I could just put on all of these layers of mask over myself, then it would protect the shell of who I was, so that I wouldn't get hurt anymore. And so you watch and you mimic and you imitate others, which is totally natural. It's like it's part of the human experience. But it's like sometimes you just like enough is enough. And you have to figure out who you really are, like your authentic self, who you are, who it is that you want to embody, like what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to create, how you want to love, how you see yourself, like how you really see yourself and who you are, and what it is that you really want, and what it is that you desire in your life. What is it that you really really desire. So I am not there because I don't think there's ever a there. I think that this is a continuous journey of life, of love, of living, of self-discovery, of, making impact, number one, for yourself and in other people. I talked about how you don't know who's ever really watching you, because who you are and what you're doing in your most beautiful, most authentic self, when you are expressing yourself, when you're moving and being whoever it is that God has chose you to be, that is when you're the most beautiful and the most angelic, and you don't know who is just watching you in all of your authenticity and all of your purity. So I say all of this to say, don't doubt yourself. Be present in those moments where you may feel so frustrated and so far removed and feeling like you're going through so much pain and so many things that are happening. Take a step back and just be present with you and look at your beauty. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. It doesn't matter about whatever flaws you may see on this in the physical form. None of that even matters, because whose standards, whose standards and who are you comparing yourself to? For what? It doesn't really matter. Who are you internally? What are you supposed to be being as a human being? As a human being. I want to just send all of you a lot of light, a lot of love. I thank you for rocking with me. I thank you for seeing me as who I am in this community, as I have grown in this YouTube space, in my authenticity and who I am. And, honestly, the biggest scope of why I'm here, like in terms of my impact and the things that I want to provide, is really, really helping people to understand that the things that they're going through, the things that they've been through, their trauma, the all of the things that they feel like they've been fighting all of their life, it's really just temporary, and it's really all in our mindset. Our financial trauma, our emotional trauma, our physical trauma. It's not to say that you haven't experienced these things, but my purpose is to help you get beyond that. And so you can book a one-on-one call with me in order to help you to get your credit together, in order to help you release financial trauma, emotional trauma. I am a licensed mental health therapist, but beyond that, I am licensed to do the work. And that's just how I feel. I've been through enough in my life to understand. I still go through this. It's still a journey. Healing is a journey. Like I said, there's never a there. You're just always moving into a higher level of being. So I love you all. Thank you for watching. Have an incredible day. And remember, you are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.